phpMyAdmin is a graphical user interface that can be used to manage MySQL databases via your web browser. It's a wonderful tool that I use every single day. It takes a lot of command line mystery out of MySQL and makes it accessible to an everyday user. It's built in PHP, so for a PHP developer, it's easily available to be placed on the same server as your application and database. Many host providers already provide a version of phpMyAdmin for you to work with. Don't. Unless your provider specifically forbids you setting up phpMyAdmin yourself, don't use their version. Chances are it's out of date, or will be very quickly. phpMyAdmin is always being updated with bug and security fixes. You should keep on top of them and ensure that you are always using the most recent stable release version. You can check that at www.phpMyAdmin.net. Here, you can quickly determine the latest stable version and upgrade if you need to. At this time, it's 2.6.3, patch level 1. I'll show you a quick and easy way to set up phpMyAdmin to make it easy to upgrade. Like a lot of programs, phpAdmin has a lot of options, and I do not have the capacity to cover them all. So I'll briefly go over setting up PHP in this movie and cover the basics of using it in the next. So first, you would download the latest version available in a format that's appropriate for your server. If you're on Unix, then download the gzip version. If you're on PC, download the zip version. Once it's downloaded to computer, you can extract the files. Once you've done that, you'll have a directory named something like the version that you currently downloaded. Inside that directory, you need to open a file called config.inc.php. And this is the file that we're going to work with. First thing that you want to set is the PMA absolute URI. What you want to set in here is the full address to where that PHP distribution is going to be on your web server. Now in my case, I always change the directory name to phpMyAdmin on the server. So here I'd enter http www.realworldphpprogramming-thebasics.com/phpMyAdmin. The next few settings we can actually ignore, but the next one that you want to check here is the host. Now this should be typically localhost. If your MySQL database is on the same server as your MySQL distribution, then it'll be localhost. If not, it should be set to the IP address of the server that MySQL is hosted on. Now a little bit further down here, we have our authentication type. What I want you to use is the HTTP method. This is the most secure method for you to use right now. It will require you to enter in the user and pass name of your MySQL database user. If you're really paranoid, as I am, you may want to use this in combination with running MySQL on a secure server connection. That way, the user and pass that you're entering will not be in plain text, eliminating packet sniffers from hacking your password. In most cases, however, running it over a plain connection should be okay. If you're going to be accessing any information that is sensitive, however, such as credit cards or customer address information, make sure you're using that secure connection. So with that auth type set, the rest of the settings can be left alone. It's that simple to set up. If you want to know more about securing phpMyAdmin and some of these other options you have, their documentation is actually pretty good, and I recommend browsing through that to find out how to use the control user options, which are very handy and useful. One last warning about the settings in this file. Whatever you do, never use the authentication type of config. It requires that you enter your username and password right into this file, here and here. This is a huge security risk, and it makes it pretty easy for someone else to get your MySQL information. So the final step would be now to upload this whole directory to our web server. And once it's there, can navigate to the domain and directory that we uploaded it to, and we should be challenged to enter in our username and password. And this is where I've uploaded it to, It's asking for our username, which, remember, we set up our WPHP with our password, let me in to, which, by the way, if anybody actually tries to get into this next time you're in, that password will be changed by the time this movie has been edited and set available to the public. So don't try, guys. We log in, and voila, we have access to all of our databases and tables via phpMyAdmin. Next, we'll go over actually using some of the options in phpMyAdmin.